Hi, I'm Dongsheng. Welcome to Digging into China, where we explore China in depth to review unique perspectives. In June, the Chinese government launched a vigorous campaign against involution, and since July, this initiative has driven a sharp increase in domestic commodity prices. Rebar prices have risen by 10%, iron ore by 15%, methanol by 16%, alumina by 18%, and coking coal by 27%. Most strikingly, polysilicon prices have surged by approximately 50%. With domestic consumption in China already severely weakened, the broad rise in price for these essential raw materials is escalating costs, further suppressing consumer spending. The Chinese government's attempt to address overcapacity has morphed into a price escalation campaign. Far from eliminating outdated surplus capacity, it has provided these inefficient, high-cost operations with profit margins and a breathing room. Consequently, this anti-involution effort centered on price increases is poised to become another failed economic adjustment, deepening China's slide into deflation. Within this anti-involution campaign, spearheaded by the Chinese Communist Party, one industry stands out. It is neither part of China's export-driven industrial goods sector, which often draws criticism from major global trading nations, nor does it face persistent inventory pressures. Yet, the government had specifically targeted it for anti-involution measures, the pig farming industry. In early June, the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Affairs convened a meeting on pig production, proposing a reduction of the national breeding sow population by roughly 1 million to 39.5 million. On July 17, during a State Council Information Office press conference, the ministry emphasized the need to accelerate the elimination of low-yield sows and weak piglets, adjust production capacity, and promote a balance between supply and demand. Why is the Chinese government so intent on pushing the pig farming industry to counter involution? Today, we will explore the economic realities behind these efforts in the pig farming sector. China is the world's leading nation in both pig farming and pork consumption, accounting for approximately half of global pig production and consumption annually. Does China's pig farming industry, like its industrial sector, suffer from severe overcapacity? Let us examine the data. In the first half of 2025, China's pig slaughter totaled 366.2 million heads, up 0.6% year-on-year. By June's end, the breeding sow population was 40.5 million, a decrease of 350,000 from 40.8 million at the end of 2024, which itself was down 640,000 from 41.5 million at the end of 2023. Breeding sows represents the production capacity of the pig farming industry, indicating that China's pig farming capacity has been steadily declining since 2022. Turning to pig slaughter figures, data from the National Bureau of Statistics shows that from 2018 to 2021, China's annual pig slaughter remained stable, ranging between 650 million and 700 million heads. The African swine fever outbreak in August 2018 severely disrupted pig production, resulting in only 544 million pigs slaughtered in 2019. After 2020, slaughter numbers gradually recovered, exceeding 700 million in 2023. In the first half of 2025, pig slaughter reached 366.2 million heads, equivalent to an annual figure of about 730 million, nearly unchanged from 727 million in 2023. Thus, neither breeding sow numbers nor pig slaughter figures show significant capacity growth in 2025 compared to recent years. Why then is the government pressing for anti-involution measures? The issue lies in the sales price of pigs. Data from leading Chinese pig farming companies such as Muyuan Foods, Wen Foodstuff, and New Hope Liu He indicate that the average pig sales price in June was just over 14 yuan per kilogram, a decline of more than 20% from the previous year. As pork constitutes over 1.25% of China's CPI basket, this 20% price drop has further depressed CPI data, aligning with the PPI, which has been declining for over 30 consecutive months. The National Bureau of Statistics faces growing challenges in manipulating data to project a stable economic growth, prompting the government to reduce pig supply to stabilize pork prices. Economically, the decline in pork prices has minimal impact on deflationary expectations. Unlike industrial goods, pork consumption is not heavily swayed by price expectations. Even if I anticipate a lower pork price next month, it is unlikely to alter my decision to consume pork today. Thus, reducing pig slaughter to stabilize pork prices will not alleviate China's deflationary pressures. For the Chinese Communist Party, the primary benefit is reduced pressure on the National Bureau of Statistics to fabricate data. With no growth in pig farming output and a 20% year-on-year price drop, is the entire pig farming industry operating at a loss? According to the Ministry of Agriculture, in 2024, the industry's average profit was 1.48 yuan per kilo, with an average profit of 203 yuan per pig. Leading firms like Muyuan Foods achieved an average profit of 290 yuan per pig. In 2024, China's pig farming industry experienced widespread profit growth, with Muyuan Foods' profit rising over five-fold. In the first half of 2025, 12 listed pig farming companies issued performance forecasts, with most anticipating profits. Muyuan Foods, building on last year's five-fold profit increases, achieved over tenfold growth this year. Despite a 20% drop in sales prices, the industry's overall profits have risen. This reflects an industrial upgrade in China's pig farming sector, driven by three key factors. First, farming companies have enhanced the productivity by introducing new breeds, importing foreign stock pigs, and adopting refined management practices. The PSY, piglets weaned per sow per year, has risen from the traditional 16-18 to 20 to 25, with some high-efficiency farms exceeding 30, improving sow productivity by over 40%. Second, the average slaughter weight of pigs has increased from about 110 kilos in 2013 to around 125 kilos in 2024, with the slaughter rate rising from 72% to 75%. This has boosted pork output per pig by 18%. Third, new breeds and foreign stock pigs have shortened the farming cycle from 180 days to 150 to 160 days, enhancing production efficiency by 14%. Consequently, pig farming costs have significantly decreased. Although pork prices have fallen, farming costs have declined even faster, leading to higher overall industry profits. This represents a positive development for China's pig farming sector. Despite the price competition lowering sales prices, the industry has avoided a destructive cycle of losses. Lower costs allow consumers to enjoy more affordable pork, while farming companies remain profitable. Yet, the government is mandating that this healthy industry reduce capacity and counter involution, a clear instance of public authority interfering with the market economy. Meanwhile, data reveals that while China's pig farming industry has become healthier with lower costs, pork consumption growth has stalled. In 2001, China's pork production was 41.84 million tons. From 2001 to 2014, production grew by 37%, reaching 57.2 million tons, mirroring China's economic growth and reflecting a dietary shift towards higher protein intake. However, since 2014, pork consumption has steadily declined. In 2018, consumption was 55.95 million tons, down 0.3% from 56.11 million tons in 2017, and 4.6% from 57.2 million tons in 2014. By 2021, it had fallen to 52.96 million tons, a 9.7% drop from 2014. One might ask, if pork's share among the four major meats, pork, beef, lamb, and poultry, has decreased, with the consumer shifting to pricier beef, lamb, or poultry. National Bureau of Statistics data shows that in 2001, total meat production was 63.4 million tons, with the pork comprising 66%. By 2023, pork still accounted for 60%. Thus, pork remains China's primary meat, but the total consumption has been declining since 2014. Does this suggest that Chinese people no longer enjoy meat? Food consumption is closely tied to societal vitality. When a society is dynamic and its economy grows rapidly, food consumption rises swiftly. But when vitality wanes and economic activity slows, food consumption stagnates or declines. Some Chinese social media discussions attribute the drop in pork consumption to the real estate sector's collapse, as construction workers were a key pork consumer group. When the real estate industry stalled, the pork lost this market segment. This view holds some merit. As China's economy loses dynamism, food consumption inevitably declines. Beyond the pork, consumption of staple foods like rice and wheat has also fallen sharply. According to the China National Food Industry Association's noodle division, dried noodle production peaked at 8.88 million tons in 2020, but dropped 20% to 7.11 million tons in 2021. In the first half of this year, leading noodle company Cayman Food reported a 13% decline in noodle sales, an 11% decline in flour sales, and a 7% decline in convenience food sales. For rice consumption, National Bureau of Statistics data indicates that in 2001, per capita annual rice consumption was 108 kilos. By 2020, it had fallen to about 75 kilos, and by 2023, it was down to 56 kilos, only 52% of the 2001 level. To mask the true reason for the decline in total food consumption, the official 2024 China Agricultural Industry Development Report claims that as Chinese residents' diet continues to evolve, demand for animal-based foods and oils has surged, reducing staple food demand. Yet, we have shown that pork consumption is decreasing, not increasing, refuting the notion that people are eating more meat instead of staples. Per capita meat consumption rose from 50 kilos in 2001 to 69 kilos in 2023, an increase of 19 kilograms. Meanwhile, per capita rice consumption fell by 52 kilos over the same period. Over these 22 years, Chinese residents' total food consumption has not grown, it has decreased by 32 kilograms. For comparison, consider South Korea, which shares a carbohydrate-heavy diet. In 2022, South Korea's per capita consumption of pork, beef, and chicken was 58 kilos, up 74% from 34 kilos in 2002. Meanwhile, per capita rice consumption fell from 65 kilos in 2002 to 57 kilos in 2022, a 13% decline. Combining South Korea's rice and meat consumption, per capita total consumption was 98 kilos in 2002, rising to 115 kilos in 2022, a 17% increase. This indicates that over 20 years, South Koreans have increased their food intake with a rapidly growing share of protein, reflecting a continuous dietary upgrade. In contrast, China's per capita rice and meat consumption fell from 157 kilos in 2001 to 125 kilos in 2023, a more than 20% decline. This aligns with the former Premier Li Keqiang's statement that the 600 million Chinese earn less than 1,000 yuan monthly. Over 20 years of economic development, the food security of those 600 million has not improved, it has deteriorated. A significant portion likely struggle to afford adequate food. Yet, no official data on the living conditions of these 600 million has been released. Beginning with the anti-involution campaign in pig farming, we have delved into China's official food statistics, revealing a reality starkly at odds with the government's narrative: a society with declining total food consumption, a society losing vitality, a society without a future. When the government seeks to stabilize pork prices by reducing pig production to bolster CPI data, it prioritizes statistics over improving citizens' lives. Those statistics support stability and government control, while the fact that ordinary people cannot afford pork due to price hikes from reduced production is deemed inconsequential. During Trump's first term amid a US-China trade war, a Chinese official famously remarked that Chinese people can survive on grass for 3 years. The stagnation and the regression of pork consumption in China's pig farming industry are closely linked to the government's heavy-handed interference in the market economy. When public authority overrides market supply and demands to allocate the resources, economic efficiency inevitably declines, reducing societal consumption power. Ultimately, all industries stagnate and regress due to this decline. Thus, the government's push for the pig farming industry to counter involution not only fails to foster future growth, but the risks afflicting a healthy industry with a malignant tumor, ultimately destroying it under a planned control model. Thank you so much for watching. If you find this video helpful, please like it, drop a comment below, and hit the subscribe button right here. It really helps YouTube suggest my video to others. I'll be back with more content soon. Until then, be well.